very first time we actually saw them, they were pretty far away and they were in a bush, but we were so excited, and getting to see them just come out of the bush and run around and interact with each other. It was such an incredible experience to see these animals the way they're meant to be in the wild.
It was incredible. I don't know, I can't describe it. I can't put it into words.
If the poaching doesn't stop, if things keep going the way they are, we are looking at a complete global extinction of rhino by the year 2025.
About 3 to 4 rhinos are being poached a day.
The number of rhino poaching incidences are increasing every year, and we're currently at about 1,200 to 1,500 every year.
In many Asian countries, rhino horn is a status symbol, and it's considered polite to have rhino horn and grind it up and put it in the drinks of your guests. There's rumors going around that it has medicinal value and medicinal purposes. It's believed to cure cancer, to cure HIV and AIDS. It's believed to cure a wide variety of health issues, and there's actually no scientific evidence that any of that is true.
This unnatural rate of mortality caused by poaching is actually making it to where the death rate of these rhinos in South Africa is far exceeding the ability of the population to reproduce.
They're being left there to die. They bleed out and they don't do anything to help them. After brutally injuring them and killing them, trying to take something which is worthless, it is ultimately just a piece of fingernail.
Rhino horn is currently valued at $5,000 per ounce, which is 5 times more than gold.
More powerful countries that have the resources, they're the ones coming up with the veterinary chemicals which are being used. There's weapons made from other countries that are being brought to this area. There's people from other countries that are purchasing it. It's not South Africa's problem, it's a global problem.
Every species on this planet is like a stack of cards, and if you start removing them, the stability of the globe might stay for a little while. Eventually it all collapses on itself.
There are anti-poaching teams out there. They're doing what they can, but they're drastically underfunded. There's not enough of them, and they need more help than they have.
Hope was a rhino that had been poached in May, and we got to go and witness one of her procedures to fix the wound on her face left by poachers.
The Hope procedure was 2.5 hours of watching this rhino suffer.
Her face was just all bloody and open, and I couldn't even imagine why somebody would do something like that to an animal, because they left her alive the whole time that they were attacking her.
You just see a gaping hole in her face with holes going up where they've cut so far down into the plate of her face that it's actually missing most of the bone that's supposed to be there, not just the horn.
Down on her, they were having to like poke and prod at her open wound, and every time I would just wince because you could see the pain in her eyes as well, and I just hurt for her.
Being able to see rhino poaching and something like that up close and personal really put a face to the crisis.
It's not hunting, it's not sport, it's not glorious, it's not pretty, it's absolute brutality.
We're looking at the rhino really as a flagship species for conservation, but there are many others, and I hope that the students will take that with them.
And now that I've actually gotten to be there and gotten to see them in the wild completely like they're supposed to be, I want to preserve that for the other generations, because we can't lose a species like that, so big and so great, because it would just be a tragedy.
I think it really takes you being there to understand how magnificent these animals are, and how it really is a life-changing experience to see a rhino in the wild as opposed to going to the zoo.
I can't imagine coming back and then just not doing anything about it anymore.
It's much more than just preserving a particular species. It's about preserving an entire community. The villages that surround the game reserves in South Africa and in the Eastern Cape, and Amakhala in particular, their livelihoods are tied to the conservation of wildlife. If the local communities aren't invested in the wildlife, then I think we're going to be really up against a difficult situation to try and preserve these animals.
Back home, you kind of wonder what you can actually do. And the biggest thing you really can do is just spread what's actually going on. Don't just spread the carnage. Share the pictures of the rhinos that shouldn't be alive. Share the pictures of the rhino that have been through all of the trauma and have come out on the other side.
Even though we're so far away, a lot of what people can do is donate money to these organizations that are going to give anti-poaching units and game reserve supplies to be able to fight poaching better.
How long do these animals have left if we don't do something? If someone doesn't do something to stop the poaching?
If we can't save this species, how are we going to save the multitude of other species that aren't as popular and aren't as charismatic?